Welcome to Random Conflux, where today we're talking about the basis of making a story slash comic or show.
That's the most lethargic welcome to Random Conflux I've heard from you. Show more emphasis in that.
Okay. Welcome to Random Conflux!
There we go.
And with that being said, I'm Zach.
I'm John.
And sometimes one of us is Skoten, sometimes one of us is Vegeta or Piccolo. So with that being said, let's just get right into it.
Yep.
I wrote down a few things on what you need to have in order to make a compelling story.
Yes.
And I'm going to say my things, and then if JJ can think of anything different,
Oh yeah, I've got a lot to say.
he'll chime in whenever. One thing, you need characters.
Oh, of course.
Another thing, you need an established timeline. You need a location. You need a universe. You need to have a background that can help you follow the narrative. For me, I do a lot of bios on the planets that my characters are going to go to. I have bios on characters that are my own, as well as characters for JJ's comics, because it's more or less a shared universe. And the not having a planned game plan ahead of time makes coming up with a story hard. It makes it difficult. And some people can do it willy-nilly, and that's all good. If you're one of those people, then kudos.
I was that way for a long time, but lately I've been having writer's block, but you already know about that due to various reasons. So
Yeah. And with the way that I do things, I don't have that chance to forget about a character.
yeah.
And if the character is supposed to have a tell, they are drawn with a tell. And if the character is supposed to be a particular race, I don't go back and say that they're not that race because of forgetting about that character. I make a backstory for every character.
Now, me coming up with stuff on the fly, I've developed more things for characters as the series progressed. And that can be good or bad, like you said.
Yeah. But usually when you're in an environment like this, and I can speak from some experience, usually writer rooms have like character profiles and concept art all over the place. And then when you're an independent group, same thing. Like, you want concept art, you want character backgrounds, you want to know the character that you're writing the story for.
Yeah. Now, what goes into designing a unique character? Some interesting things cartoonists and comic book artists have said. One, is your character definable by a silhouette? I would say both your character and mine are to like a degree.
Yeah.
And is your character an easy name to remember when you're writing them constantly.
Yes.
Yeah. That's actually why in old comic books they followed a rule of first name, last name, same letter, or similar names like Peter
Clark Kent,
Peter Parker,
Billy Batson,
Wade Wilson.
Well, no, Wade Wilson was after Slade Wilson.
Yeah, but still. Still, it follows the same rule. Lois Lane, Reed Richards. I can't think of any other ones.
It's more that
they can bring it up on the fly like
it's not easier to remember. It's more that it rolls off the tongue better.
Rolls off the tongue, and when you're writing, how many comics did they do? It was easy for them to remember which characters they were writing about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also depends on the writer too.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
yeah,
you gotta figure out like what type of story you're telling.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an action? Is it an adventure? Is it both? Is it drama? Is it a horror flick?
I know mine tends to be action mixed with humor. I know you've seen that, and that's just my style when I do stuff.
It's harmony.
Whereas you tend to be a little more action and serious focused when you write.
Yeah, but to the point where the character I make is very, I would say he's very with like the future.
Yeah.
Not to give a lot of spoilers about the show that I'm working on. But he talks about events that haven't even been mentioned or even heard of within his timeline.
And that's just you having fun a little bit.
Yeah, that's me poking fun to like my inspirations and like all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But I myself also have to turn that kind of stuff down, because if I keep it the way it is, or if I make that the focal point,
it kind of ruins the experience for you.
Yeah. And it's not like the character does it all the time. It's like in a high serious situation.
You want to break
the tension.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed like that's one way of doing it. Another way is just background gags, and that's one way that you do it. But yeah, you need a character, you need a timeline, you need a kind of a rough outline of a story. You need location. Obviously, that's one thing that they teach you in any sort of writing school.
Oh, you have to have like when you're having somebody in a house, you have to think of where everything is in that house.
Yeah.
Or at least a general idea.
I believe the saying is location, 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 location.
Yeah. But yeah. Or if you're designing a town, think of like where stuff is generally. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, knowing where everything is, but like a general idea. Well, like, you know, the store, like a store's here, the house is here. You know what I mean? Like how far it is from the house.
if you're drawing the area all the time,
Yeah.
it's good to be
At least have an idea of where everything is.
yeah. It's good to be like
Consistent.
yeah,
Yeah.
that word. But yeah, all you gotta do is excuse the coughs, but make a compelling character. You can write down the background before you make the concept art, or you can just make the concept art and then come up with the background.
Like decide what the character is going to do after you draw them, and it's like, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's kind of what I do with characters. I'll draw them and like, okay, that's cool. I'm going to use that.
Yeah. But then when you're asked about the background of the character, it takes you a while to come up with it. Where with me, I got it all right there, already on paper, and I can just be like, here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you need. So that's more or less the basis of getting started on a story, show, or comic.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I want to put, it's okay to make a story that you would be willing to read or watch.
Yeah. Do the kind of story you like.
Yes, but not to the point where you completely forget about the people that you're trying to push the story to.
Yeah.
And don't make it for an audience that pushes towards one agenda and completely downgrades others that read or watch your story.
Oh yeah, you make it for everybody. Like you don't try to pander to one audience. You make it a nice, wholesome.
Yeah, and not dropping any names because we've already dropped those names before. But there's some people at Star Wars not taking that advice and making something of their own agenda.
There's some that are doing that, and there's some that are making legit good stories, and the good stories.
Well,
are the ones
I
that-
was getting to that.
I know you were.
I was going to say some of them at Star Wars or Lucasfilms is still trying to follow in George Lucas's footsteps.
Yeah, and the stories from those ones are usually better because of it.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a good, wholesome.
And it seems like the kind of stories that the other person is wanting to make are just like woke agenda and stuff like that. I'm not saying don't put a strong character in a situation, but don't make him aggressive. Give him weaknesses.
Yeah, every character should have a weakness. For instance, Batman, despite having all the gadgets, all the money, he's still human.
That
He's got injured quite a few times.
he can be tricked,
Yeah.
just in the sense that he's human.
Yeah. Or,
But he can also feel fear. He can feel love.
yeah.
He can. He's more. It's more easier to put yourself in the shoes of Batman rather than put your shoes or put your feet in the shoes of Superman.
Yeah. Or another way to look at it with Goku. Yes, Goku versus Superman is debated all the time. They're both extremely powerful. But every enemy Goku has come across, he has worked his butt off to get up to where he can beat that enemy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Goku's only killed like a handful of his enemies.
Yeah, he's rose to the occasion. He didn't start off being able to beat him.
Well, in Dragon Ball, he was like super powerful. And then they dimmed him down during like season 2 and up.
Yeah.
Where like the people were stronger than he was.
Yeah.
And then same with Dragon Ball Z, where Raditz was stronger than Goku was.
Yeah.
So in a way, they kind of started Goku as Mary Sue, but they also gave him a reason to train too.
Yeah.
Like they wanted him to show that he was gifted, but not to the point where other people were at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and even in the first season, I would argue it's like, yeah, he was strong, but at that point, I wouldn't call him overpowered. He was super strong, but he had his weaknesses.
He got hit by a girl on a bike.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was super
And he was like, what the heck is that thing? So, yeah.
Actually, it was a car first.
Same old, same old.
And then he thought it was a monster.
Point of the matter was, he was able to take a hit from a moving vehicle. So, in some cases, that would make him a Mary Sue. But that type of universe, it's normal to work yourself to the bone and have your muscles or your skin so dense that it's almost like armor. So in that world, like, that would be normal.
Yeah. Speaking of Dragon Ball, this is kind of off topic, but I haven't watched all of it, but Dragon Ball Superhero, I saw a clip where Piccolo, you know Piccolo and Pan, right? From the fact that Piccolo and Pan's either like kindergarten or preschool teacher are on a first name basis. It was kind of funny. It's like, oh, Piccolo, I didn't know you were coming today.
Yeah, they need to put that either on Crunchyroll or Tsunami.
Speaking of that, though, I noticed your next bullet points timelines, which is backstory, like we've been talking about a little bit.
Well, I mentioned timelines.
Yeah.
But you want to have a particular timeline.
Mm-hmm.
That way you know where the story's taking place.
Like you want a beginning, middle, and end, at least for a basis. And if you want to continue off, have somewhere where it could continue from there if you need to. If you have more ideas for the story.
I mean, you can have branching timelines.
Yeah.
But if you're saying that it's in the same universe,
Yeah.
then you want those to be... You want to be able to look at a timeline and be able to know when something diverged and became its own thing and when it reconverged.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working on a show that I've been wanting to do for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And right now I'm working on the script. It's just me and my brother doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I lost the original copy of the script, so I have to redo the script. But when I first started wanting to come up with it, I didn't think I had the talent enough to make a script. So I lacked the what would it be? I lacked the
confidence
to do it. And then when I seen my brother's comics, I'm like, okay, well, I think I can make this work if I write the scripts and my brother comes up with the character concepts or just draws the basis. I can kind of match his style. And then we both can tell a compelling story. Mine through like a cartoon and his through a comic strip. But it was just getting myself willing to do it.
Yeah.
And having not just the passion but the courage to want to write a story that no one has seen before. And hoping that it gets done sometime in the near future. But real life situations when you're just working with a small group or even a 2-person group, you don't really have a lot of time to deal with personal issues and real life problems along with making a script or telling a story.
Yeah.
So it's always better to work as a team rather than an individual.
Yeah. Plus, I know you've been doing a lot on top of that. Plus, me having a full-time job, it's hard to do stuff.
Yeah. And as a hobby, it's
fun.
still fun.
Yeah.
But it's a lot slower.
Yes.
And with locations, like Gigi was saying, if a place is happening in a house setting, then like the location has to be consistent. You need to know in your head the mapping of what that place looks like.
Yeah.
Or if it's in an outside setting, you need to know like how far are they from the house? What's the location like? Is there a bunch of trees or is there a bunch of buildings?
Yeah.
Is it a dirt road or a paved sidewalk? Or possibly a tarmac road?
Yeah. And then, believe it or not, one thing that can help you as far as like setting up, like if you want like a set plan for a house, you could draw it, or something I've done before and you've done before, design it in a video game. You've built houses like for ideas for what you want to do in your story in Fallout and different games, I'm sure. I've done it in The Sims and in Fallout just to see.
Yep. And just we went over characters, timelines, location. One of the ways to stay consistent, map out the locations.
Yeah.
If it's a different world, like a different planet, then kind of create a bio about that planet.
Yeah. And if you don't think you're good at drawing the characters or whatever, it's your story. Big whoop. There is no right or wrong way to draw a character.
That and
I mean, yes, there's ways to get like more realistic proportions and like different.
You could probably talk a friend into helping out.
Yeah. Like for instance, our friend's Matt's youngest kid. She loves to draw, and she's pretty good for her age. I'll give her credit. But does she have proportions and stuff? No, but she's still, I think, an amazing artist because she wants to draw. And it doesn't matter how good you think you are, if you're willing to put in the effort, it's a beautiful drawing. You know what I mean? You could draw a picture of poo. And that's still art.
The spiral pudding or the turd? Like the log.
Take your pick. And please don't send us pictures of that. I don't.
Well, if you want to send us pictures, you can always send us pictures of your drawings.
Oh, if you want to, yeah. We love pictures of drawings. Not of your poo. That's...
No. And pictures can be sent through the comments down below.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, yeah, if you guys send us a pic, we'll probably put it in the beginning of one of our videos. That's not a problem. As long as Da Vinci likes it. That's one of the few things I've had Da Vinci crash on if the picture's too big. Speaking of that, if you don't need software to do drawings, but if you want good software for drawings, and you don't have money for Adobe because price, GIMP and Krita are both very good programs. I know we're not talking about software, but just throwing it out there.
Well, Anime Studio.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Anime Studio does cost money, but it's a good program for getting started. If you want a free version, OpenTunes is very good. I just get mad whenever I go to use it because I'm not used to it and it's frustrating.
But also kind of pick like what type of genre it is too.
Oh yeah. And if you don't want to stick to a certain genre and like want to go willy-nilly and have...
Well, no, you don't want to go willy-nilly because going willy-nilly is exactly what Acolytes did. And it's kind of so fucked up that it's not even worth rewatching.
Oh no, you have to have a basic story, like you said. You have to have a basic story and like see like.
There was a basic story. It was called Star Wars Episode 1.
I agree with you. But yeah.
They could say it's in a different universe. Fucking dumbasses. Sorry, Kathleen Kennedy just ticks me off. But, anyways. Yeah, characters, location,
and squirrels.
Timelines.
Timelines, yeah. What about squirrels?
Stop it with the squirrels! What type of story you're making? Is it live action? Is it cartoon? If it's cartoon, is it 2D or is it CG or is it like 3D model render? Is it like claymation?
Claymation's fun.
Like, what type of style are you wanting to do?
Yeah.
Pick a certain type of genre. Is it drama? Is it an adventure? Is it action? Is it comedy? Is it horror? Is it sci-fi?
And those can bleed into each other a little bit, but you have to stay consistent with your story. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't make a story that goes from A to Z and it's gone all over the place. just make a story that goes from A to B in the most linear way possible.
Well, the TV series Lost didn't do that. But then it kind of lost its way after the end of the series.
And I'm
joking,
that
but
it was intentional considering the name Lost.
yeah. And if
they wanted people to get mixed up.
Yeah, and then by the end of the series, it was so confusing that
they didn't know how to close it.
Yeah.
Well, I do know how to close this. With that being said, art's fictional. A character is just a person you make in your head. But there's a real life you, there's a real life me, and there's a real life world out there. So why don't you go ahead, take a step outside of your door, breathe in some daisies, unless you're allergic to them. Then I would say breathe in some of that top of the morning coffee for you. And I don't know.
Just enjoy the day.
Look at the birds flapping and the sun rising, and count yourself lucky that you're still around.
Oh, you have to let the beauty of life inspire you, right?
Exactly. And as per usual, I'm Zach.
I'm John.
This is Random Conflux, only on YouTube. So don't get that mistake. As always, like, subscribe, comment down below. Ring the bell notification button. Let's see. What else do I want to close off with? Oh, just whenever you're trying to accomplish something and you think that it looks good, but others are just telling you it sucks, but they're not giving you anything to help improve or try to get better, then they're just trying to down you. So don't pay them any attention. And
you're your own worst critic.
You're your own worst critic. Don't be too hard on yourself. And with that, I say bye, he says bye, and I go to and say bye? Yeah, you go to and say bye. Okay, bye people. Uncle Pickle, say goodbye.
But I've just begun.
But it's the end of the show. Say goodbye.
Fine then. Bye.
Bye-bye.